Ahmed Sékou Touré, a name that echoes through history. He was the firebrand who stared down France. He led Guinea to independence, a beacon of hope for Africa. He became known as the Lion of Guinea. But even lions have scars. What shaped this man? What drove him? The answers lie buried in his past. Touré's grandfather wasn't just any man. Samori Toure was a warrior king. He resisted French colonization with every fiber of his being. The stories of his defiance, they became legendary. Young Sékou grew up on these tales. He learned that freedom wasn't free. He understood sacrifice. It was in his blood. Touré wasn't born with a silver spoon. His parents were simple people. His father, a farmer. His mother, a pillar of strength. They taught him the value of hard work. They instilled in him a sense of dignity. He learned that every man deserves respect. These values would guide him. School couldn't contain young Sékou. He was expelled for speaking truth to power, but he didn't stop learning. He devoured books. He immersed himself in the ideas of revolutionaries, Marx, Lenin, thinkers who dared to challenge the status quo. He was becoming the man he was destined to be. 1958, a pivotal year. France offered its colonies a choice autonomy within the French community or immediate independence. Guinea, led by Toure, chose freedom. The response was swift and brutal. France withdrew overnight, taking everything they could. They left Guinea in ruins. The world watched in awe. Touré had defied an empire. He became an icon of anti-colonialism. But behind the scenes, the struggle was real. Guinea was starting from scratch. The pressure was immense. Touré carried the weight of a nation on his shoulders. The world was a different place back then. The Cold War was raging. The superpowers were playing chess with the lives of millions. Touré found himself caught in the middle. He needed allies. He found one in Kwame Nkrumah, the leader of Ghana. They shared a dream of a united Africa, but their friendship wasn't without its challenges. Nkrumah was a visionary. He believed in Pan-Africanism, a united Africa, free from colonial influence. Toure, while supportive, had a more pragmatic approach. He focused on building a strong, independent Guinea. Their differences created friction, but their shared goals kept them connected. Power is a double-edged sword. It can corrupt even the purest of hearts. As Touré's power grew, so did his paranoia. He had seen what happened to other African leaders: assassinations, coups. He became convinced that enemies lurked in every shadow. To protect himself, he created a vast security apparatus. Dissent was silenced, opponents were imprisoned. Camp Boiro, a notorious detention camp, became a symbol of his regime's brutality. Fear became a tool of control. The world looked on, horrified. The champion of freedom had become an oppressor. Human rights groups condemned his actions. International pressure mounted. But Touré remained defiant. He argued that these measures were necessary for Guinea's survival, but even in the darkest of times, glimmers of hope remained. Stories circulated of Touré's personal acts of kindness. He would often help struggling families, providing food, shelter, education. These stories painted a different picture, a man torn between his ideals and the harsh realities of power. The years took their toll. Touré's health deteriorated, but he clung to power. He feared that his death would plunge Guinea into chaos. In 1984, he traveled to the United States for heart surgery. He died there, far from the land he loved. Touré's death was a turning point for Guinea. It marked the end of an era. The country was left to grapple with his legacy, a legacy as complex as the man himself. He was a liberator, a dictator, a poet, a tyrant. He was all of these things and none of them. Ahmed Sékou Touré's story is a cautionary tale, a reminder that even the best of intentions can be twisted, that power unchecked can corrupt, but it is also a story of hope, a reminder that even in the darkest of times the human spirit can endure, and that the fight for freedom is a fight that must be fought anew by every generation.